Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qala rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Afiq Aiman bin Muhammad Idris, and today I will be presenting about two key points related to Malaysia's economic growth and the tourism sector. First, the calculation of price elasticity of demand for hotel accommodation, and second, the impact of household income on the price elasticity of demand for tourism services. So, let's start with the first part. So, according to the scenarios, the hotel accommodation prices rose by 12%, while the quantity demanded decreased by 4%. So, using the formula for price elasticity of demand, we can calculate it as follows. Price elasticity of demands equals to the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. So, after we substitute the values, we will get price elasticity of demand equals to -4 divided by 12, and which gives us a value of -0.33. Taking the absolute value, so the answer will be 0.33. This indicates that the demand for the hotel accommodation is inelastic because the price elasticity of demand's value is less than 1. In other words, consumers are not very sensitive to the price changes, as the percentage change in quantity demanded is smaller than the percentage change in price. Now, let's move on to the next point, which is how changes in household incomes might influence the price elasticity of demand for tourism services. The article references government measures such as high civil servant salaries and increased minimum wages, which aim to enhance family income. These changes impact price elasticity in several ways. Firstly, as household income increases, people generally become less sensitive to changes in the price of tourism services. Tourism services like hotel accommodations are often considered normal or luxury goods. With higher income, the proportion of income spent on these services decreases, making demand more inelastic. So, let's move on to the next point, which is the luxury versus necessity effects also plays a role. Tourism services may increasingly be perceived as luxury goods. For such goods, demand becomes even less elastic as people are willing to pay higher prices without significantly reducing their consumption. And lastly, we must consider higher income distribution. If income growth is concentrated to higher income households, demand becomes more elastic for this group, while lower income households may still exhibit more elastic demand due to the budget constraints. As a conclusion, the price elasticity of demand for hotel accommodation was calculated as 0.33, which is making it inelastic. This reflects low sensitivity to price changes. Additionally, increases in household income due to government measures are likely to make the demand for tourism services more inelastic, as higher income reduces price sensitivity for luxury or discretionary spending. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Adi bin Sairan. So today I'm going to present to you guys about my answer on question number 2. Okay, question number 2 sounds like, suppose an 8% increase in household income result in a 12% increasing demand for luxury goods such as imported car. So for question A, calculate the income elasticity of demand for imported cars. Imported cars a necessity or a luxury good. So when we get the calculation question, first of all, we need to list out all the data given. So for question A, we are using the income elasticity of demand formula, which is the formula is percentage change in quantity demand divided by percentage change in income. So all the amount of formula at given from the question, which is the percentage change in quantity demand is 12% and percentage change in income is 8%. So all we need to do is just divide it and we will get 1.5 the amount of it. So to answer the question A, we need to state the reason. Is it good is it this good is considered a luxury good or not? So the answer is this good is considered a luxury good since the income elasticity of demand is greater than one. So let's moving on to question B. Question B says that in what manner might the alteration in income levels addressed in the article influence the demand for this good? So the answer for it is if there is an increase in household income, as stated in the article, demand for luxury goods such as imported cars will typically rise. So let me give you an example for you guys to be more understand, which is when our income is increasing, such as our salary get higher than 20,000, of course we want to spend our money on what we love. So a lot of people love the luxury car, imported car. So the demand for luxury good for such as imported car will typically increase in our country. This is because people have more disposable income to spend on non-essential or high-end items. The income elasticity of demand of 1.5 suggests that demand for imported cars is relatively elastic, meaning that in the graph, when a small increase of income can lead to a big change for demand for this good, such as luxury good for luxury car in Malaysia. So, when household income rises, as we saw in the example, demand for luxury good like imported car increases. Consumers have more disposable income, allowing them to spend on higher and non-essential item. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Sir Shaiful. So today I'll be discussing the relationship between two key raw materials in manufacturing sector, steel and aluminium, based on the price changes and their impact on demand. I will address two main points. First, the calculation of the cross price elasticity of demand, and the second one is the whether steel and aluminium are substitutes or complements. Let's dive into the first part. Calculating cross-price elasticity of demand. The scenario states that the price of the steel increased by 15%, which led to a 10% increase in the demand for aluminium, using the formula for cross-price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand equals the percentage change the quantity demand of aluminium divided by percentage change in the price of steel. Substituting the values, we get cross price elasticity of demand equals to 10 divided by 15, which gives us a value of 0.67. The cross price elasticity of demand between steel and aluminium is 0.67. Now, let's analyze whether steel and aluminium are substitutes or complements. We know that the price elasticity of demand is positive, which means that when the price of steel rises, the demands for aluminium also increase. This indicates that steel and aluminium are substitutes as consumer or manufacturers switch to aluminium when steel becomes more expensive. The article further supports this conclusion by highlighting the importance of the manufacturing sector, which relies heavily on raw materials like steel and aluminium. In this context, when the price of steel rises, manufacturers may opt to use aluminium as an alternative to manage costs. In conclusion, the cross-price elasticity of demand between steel and aluminium is 0.67, showing a positive relationship. This confirms that steels and aluminium are substitutes. The manufacturing sector's reliance on both materials reinforce this relationship. As price change, drive shift in demand between the two. That's all for me. Thank you.
You to all of my friend for their presentation. So we continue with question 4. The article attributes part of Malaysia economic growth to the manufacturing sector, which includes electronic goods. However, the article also mentions Challenges such as global uncertainties and supply constraints. Suppose the price of electronic goods increased by 12%, but the quantity supply increased by only 5%. So, for the first question is A. Calculate the price elasticity of supply for electronic goods. Is the supply elastic or inelastic? So this is answer for the question one. The formula for the price elasticity of supply, which is PAS, is percentage changes price divide to percentage changes quantity supply. So for the price, we have 12 percentage increase in price, and for quantity supply, we have 5%, which is increase in demand. For substituting the values, 5% divide to 12%. So we convert to 5 divide to 12 equal 0.42. Since price is less than 1, the supply of electronic goods is inelastic. This means that the quantity supplied respond relatively less to changes in price. We continue with the second question, which is B. Discuss two factors based on the article that might contribute to the observed elasticity in the manufacturing sector. First, B. The first factor is global uncertainties and trade volatility. The manufacturing sector, especially electronic goods, is highly dependent on exports and global supply chains. When global demand fluctuates or supply chain disruption occur, firms cannot easily adjust production, leading to inelastic supply. For instance, China uneven recovery uh, exports. The article states that Malaysia export contract in September due to China slow economic recovery. Since China is a major trading partner, a drop in demand from China reduced production incentive for Malaysia manufacture. Even if electronic goods price rise, manufacturers cannot quickly increase supply due to lower demand in key export markets. Next is government policies and cost constraint. Government policies, especially those affecting wages and production costs, can influence the ability of manufacturers to scale production uh, and to scale production efficiently. An example, higher minimum wage increases production costs. The article mentioned that the Malaysian government plans to raise the minimum wage in the private sector to boost domestic demand. Impact on manufacturing is labor costs will increase, making it more expensive for manufacturer to hire workers. Uh, Electronic manufacturing often requires skilled labor which is not immediately available, further delaying production increases. Even if prices rise, firms may struggle to expand production, leading to inelastic supply. As a conclusion, electronic goods in Malaysian manufacturing sector exhibit inelastic supply due to global trade uncertainties. Example, China economic slowdown, supply chain disruption, semiconductor shortage, government policies increasing production costs. For example, rising minimum wages, petrol subsidy cuts. These factors restrict manufacturer ability to expand production quickly, leading to a low pace
value, which is 0.42, indicating inelastic supply. That's all from us. Thank you.